know a lot of people saying, well, Wiz Khalifa smokes weed and he gets things done. Yo, I got things done smoking weed too. Like I say, I graduated college smoking weed. I graduated grad school. I worked a job. I started this YouTube channel. Like I wrote a book. Well, you know, like I've done things on weed. It's not like I couldn't do things when I was a smoker. I was like a lazy smoker. For me, it's purely financial reasons. The number one reason for me, and will probably be the number one reason for you, was money. This money is better used elsewhere. Like 5 reasons why I stopped smoking weed. All right, so jump right into this. I love weed, bro. Like it's not like I'm trying to talk down on anybody who smoke weed. Obviously, we know the benefits of weed. Obviously, it helps some people, but this is just personally why I decided to stop smoking weed. It's been almost 2 years now. I do not have the desire to smoke weed, and I feel good about it because reason number one, I stopped smoking weed. The money, man. It's not like I was going broke buying weed. It's not like it was giving me a financial problem. Like, I've always had a job. I could afford weed. I could put it into my budget. It wasn't a big deal. But even if, let's say you're a huge high income earner, you get over 6 figures a year, so you can like spend $1,000 a month on weed. Regardless of even if it doesn't break the bank for you, that's still $1,000 that you don't have in your pocket anymore. That's still $1,000 that's going toward weed instead of going towards something else. So even if you make $10,000 a month, let's say, you know, you're a millionaire, you make whatever the case may be, that money you're putting towards weed or drugs or whatever the case may be, that's money that you don't have anymore, even if it doesn't break the bank for you. So for me, like I said, I could afford it, but the money is just better used elsewhere, and I'm using the money better elsewhere. So money is the number one thing, because if you're a logical thinker like me, you're gonna think that way. Like, yeah, I'm not going, I mean, some of y'all is going broke buying weed. Like, you clearing out your last of your bank account to buy it. You searching for dollars, you know, in the car, in the cracks of the couch, you searching for anything. You might even be borrowing money or getting credit with your plug. Like some of y'all, but you know, even if that's not you, even if you can healthily afford it, that's money that's not going towards something else. So that's how I think about it. Number 2 reason I stopped smoking weed, I had got a new job. I stopped smoking weed like May 2021, right? So it's 2023 as of the recording of this video. Maybe you're watching this in the future. Salute to you. I had got a new job. So I knew that during training for this job, I want to be fully present. Like this is not a job where I can just be high and just do well. Like this is a job where I need to focus. I need to understand what's going on. I need to be able to analyze things, quickly respond to things, meetings. Like I'm talking to people higher up at the organization. Like I need to be fully here. So during training, I knew what type of job I was walking into. So I knew during training, which is probably gonna last like 2 months, I need to be fully there during training. I need to know what I'm doing because I want to do well at this job. It's at an organization that I've always wanted to work at. I finally got the job. They don't drug test, so it's not like I needed to stop smoking. But I told myself, like I knew, I didn't even have to tell myself, I knew like I need to be fully present during training. So after training passed, it kind of just continued. Like by that time I had already been like almost a full year not smoking weed. So I'm like, I'm gonna just continue to not smoke. Like I've already gone like 2, 3, 4 months already without it. Let me just continue this. And I was having so much extra money. Back to reason number 1, I'm like, yo, like, I kind of like this. Reason number 3, I stopped smoking weed. Investment. So this goes back to reason number 1, which is money. I started investing a lot more. And I was already investing before. If you know me, you know I've always been into stocks. I've always been into investments. If you sat behind me during college, you'll see me on Morningstar just looking at mutual funds, just looking at the different breakdowns and the different industries and different ways you can allocate. I've always been into investment, even when I was smoking weed. You know, I wasn't like a weed smoker that couldn't get stuff done, that couldn't focus while on weed. You know, I graduated college smoking weed. I graduated grad school smoking weed. I've worked jobs smoking weed. Like I've started this channel on YouTube smoking weed. Like if you look at my earlier videos, I'm smoking in those videos. Investing was something I was into, but again, I thought back to reason number one. I'm spending X amount of dollars on weed. I could be putting that much more into my investments, growing my investments even more. Again, I'm a logical thinker. A lot of y'all watching this video are logical thinkers. So when you start thinking about this logically, it's going to be hard to go against the logic. Like instead of putting the money towards weed, I can put the money towards this investment. If I would have stopped smoking weed, let's say a year ago, this is how my mind works. If I would have stopped smoking a year ago, I could have this much more of the investment at this percent gain. Like this is how I'm thinking about it, right? So investment and being able to invest more was a huge reason why I stopped smoking weed. That and number one go hand in hand. Number four reason I stopped smoking weed, I went very hard during the pandemic with my cannabis consumption. We call it cannabis from now on. Let's use the scientific term. During the pandemic lockdowns, I'm talking like March 2020 until like when California here, it went pretty much until the end of the year. I smoked so much cannabis. Like I would go through an ounce probably like in a little less than 2 weeks, which for some of y'all, I mean, not a big deal, but for me, that's a big deal. Like I wasn't going to school. I was laid off. I was at home all day. So what do? I wake up, I smoke. After that, I might smoke again. I might smoke 2 months back to back. Midday, I might smoke. I'm bored. Before bed, I'm smoking. And again, before bed, I might smoke twice. So you're talking about potentially 6 blunts, 4 to 6 blunts in a day. And these is like 1 gram blunts at times. So you spread that out, 6 blunts, we call that 6 grams. Yeah, you could see how you could realistically go through an ounce in less than 2 weeks. Like I went so hard during those pandemic lockdowns. Cannabis consumption kind of just lost its luster for me. It's kind of like I'm not really even getting high anymore. I'm just smoking out of routine. I'm smoking out of boredom. That's really why I smoke. I didn't see. Come on, bro. Okay. See, I didn't smoke out of trauma. I didn't smoke for medical reasons. I didn't smoke for any other reason other than boredom. Like this is the reason. Now I will say, like during 2017, I had a really bad job, really terrible work experience from 2017 to 2019. Absolutely terrible work experience. So again, they didn't drug test. So every day before I went into that job, like I would just sedate myself to the maximum extent possible. Like I felt like I had to be sedated to go into that office and work that job. And when I got home, that was the only thing I got to look forward to this whole crappy day at work. The only thing I get to look forward to, that I'm looking forward to, getting home, eat, smoke, boom, YouTube, watch YouTube. So that was, I guess that was the reason I was doing it during that time. But other times I was smoking just out of boredom. It started as for fun, then it just turned in because I'm bored. So when push came to shove, it wasn't that hard to stop, especially when I got the logic in my head. Like, you know, I'm not smoking. It sucks because I would like to smoke now, but I'm going to have so much more of my investment. I'm going to, my portfolio, like my extra money, my savings, like everything is, the logic enough for me is enough to keep me like, all right, yeah, I don't need to do this. And number 5 reason I stopped smoking weed is, and it's something a lot of people don't have. It's called self-discipline. I am big on self-discipline. Whether that be adhering to a strict diet, whether that be working out on a schedule and not missing that schedule, whether that be living a straight edge lifestyle, not drinking, not smoking. I admire people with great discipline, and I also try to practice great self-discipline. So for me to be able to break a routine such as smoking, for me to be able to break that routine and show myself like, yo, I'm in control, I can stop doing this whenever I want to. Matter of fact, I can stop cold turkey, which is what I did. I was smoking every day, and then one day I just stopped. It wasn't like this thing where I had this app on my phone, like, oh, daily countdown, oh, 2 days, 43 months since smoking weed. Like, no, like, I just stopped. And for me, that's very rewarding. It's something that no one else sees, right? No one else knows. So there's like no outside validation. It's just very rewarding for me, and it's self-validation. Like, yeah, I stopped smoking weed. I smoked weed hella for like almost 10 years. It was college. And I just stopped, and I stayed stopped. Like, I'm in control. For me, that's just very rewarding. So quick backstory, I started smoking, we'll call it during college. First time I ever smoked weed, it was like my senior year of high school. The school year was pretty much over. I always told myself, I'm not going to smoke, I'm not going to drink until like I know my future is good. So for me, you know, what determined that was I've been accepted to a college. Like, I've already got the acceptance letter. Like, I'm good to go. My high school years is finished, because it's one thing to get accepted into college, but that happens like the beginning of that happens during your senior year. You still got to finish. So for me, again, here's the thing with self-discipline. Like, I'm going to, you know, do my partying and drinking and smoking, all the good high school stuff that people do. I'm going to do that once I know I'm solidified. So that's what I did. I got accepted to my college. Like, my schedule for my last semester of my senior year was like easy, because I had pretty much already done everything. It's like a couple electives, not even a full schedule. So that's when I started, you know, going to parties, drinking a little. That's the first time I got drunk, and it's the first time I smoked weed. It was at a party. I was already drunk. I was at a friend's house, already drunk. They were smoking in the garage, and I was like, yo, like, because I always wanted to try it. You know, I listen to Currency, I listen to Wiz Khalifa. You know, I just want to see what, you know, see what the hype is about. So I smoked, and I want to say I got high, but I was already so drunk. I did get high, but I was already so drunk, it was like hard to decipher the feeling. And then after that, I only did it like very occasionally when friends had it. Like, senior ditch day, I remember we went to the beach, went to Venice Beach, we smoked there. And it just very like rarely, maybe like one or two, 3 times during high school, maybe like twice. But then college is when the cannabis thing started happening, because everybody smokes, and people in college do way more than smoke. Like, I never went into this realm, you know, Xanax, Percocets, Molly, so yeah, boom, weed was like nothing. Started smoking weed, and then I would say maybe I didn't start smoking every day. I didn't start buying it until like maybe a year after college, so like my sophomore or junior year. And I didn't start smoking every day until like maybe my senior year of college. So this is a very slow, you know, transition into weed. Like, because again, I pride myself on discipline, self-discipline. I just didn't need it, like, and I still don't need it. But I can't remember when it became, I can't remember the exact, what triggered it becoming a daily thing, smoking. I can't remember what triggered it becoming a daily thing. But I can say, like, once you make that step over from just smoking it occasionally with friends or in social settings or at parties, once you make the step from just that to actually buying it for yourself, that is when you're going to become an everyday smoker, you know, pretty quickly. Because I mean, if you're watching this video, you know weed is great. Like, I don't know anyone who stopped smoking weed because they just didn't like it anymore. Most people had reasons. Maybe they had cannabis hypermesis syndrome. Maybe they had like just a traumatic experience with it. But I don't know anybody who stopped smoking weed just because they was like, you know, I don't like it anymore. Like, no, bro. Like, I don't know anyone who does that. All right, so boom. So, and then once I got my first full-time job, yeah, I was smoking every day. It was a very terrible job. It was a job that I stayed at way too long. I stayed at the job longer than I should have, longer than I needed to. I stayed at that job for 2 years, and that's when I became a very heavy smoker. I'm talking ounces, buying ounces every day, multiple times a day, because I just felt like I needed to sedate myself to even go into that job. And it wasn't just me. People would go into that job and their little tumblers, their little coffee mugs, They have alcohol. They have like, the employees at that job, man, we were so mistreated. You see what I'm saying? For me, I knew, like, waking up in the morning, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm like, another day at this job. I would smoke a blunt. Like, and if I could, I would smoke two, but it was, you know. And the only thing I had to look forward to during the day at work, I'm just feeling like crap at work because it's a crappy job and a crappy environment. In that office, the only thing I'm looking forward to is like, man, I can't wait to go home and smoke a blunt. And that, I say that weed helped me through that situation, for sure. For sure. I don't know what weed helped me through that situation, but I'll tell you. So from the start of smoking weed until the end, which is 2021, you could say, yeah, it's 10 years, because my first time smoking weed was senior year of high school. I didn't smoke every day until like maybe my senior year of college. So we can call it 10 years from the beginning to end. But being an all day, every day smoker, we call it 6 years. Let's call it 6, 7 years. Let's call it, 5, 6 years. So yeah, man, those are my 5 reasons I stopped smoking weed. Money, I wanted to save money. Job, I wanted to do well on my new job during training. Being able to invest more, logical decision. It kind of got old because, during the pandemic, like I've done it so much, like I'm not even getting high anymore. I'm just doing this out of routine. And reason number 5 is breaking routine, just having that self-discipline to say, yo, like, I'm in control of me. Because a lot of people say I can stop doing this whenever I want to. Not just with cannabis, with all other types of drugs or alcohol. People always say like, oh, I can stop if I wanted to. But could you really? Like, could you stop right now and not do it like for the next 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, a month? Could you really stop? So for me, I really could stop, and I really did. And I don't know if I'll never smoke again, but it'll be when, I don't know, because I enjoy now saying, okay, I've been 2 years without weed. That's like an accomplishment for me. Like, I feel good about that. And I want to keep it going. I want to be like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the video. Shout out to cannabis though. I like cannabis, you know what I mean? But I don't do it anymore. There's better things for me to be doing currently. Like I said, will I stop smoking forever? I don't know. I doubt it. Maybe when I'm older, I will come back to it when I'm more settled, when I have a house purchase, like when I have, retirement basically. But currently in the near future, I don't see myself smoking. I wouldn't say smoking, buying it. I'm not gonna be a daily weed smoker, and I haven't smoked it in 2 years. So those are my reasons. Have you quit before? What were your reasons? Did money play an issue? Did it not? I know a lot of people saying, well, Wiz Khalifa smokes weed and he gets things done. Yo, I got things done smoking weed too. Like I say, I graduated college smoking weed. I graduated grad school. I worked a job. I started this YouTube channel. Like, I wrote a book. Well, like I've done things on weed. It's not like I couldn't do things when I was a smoker. I was like a lazy smoker. For me, it's almost purely financial reasons. And plus my job, I want to do a good job at my job. So be sure to subscribe if you have not already. This is top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.